So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to introducing the shuffle to you today. My name is Nadia Smith. I'm BEKA Schréder's Senior Communications Officer. Please note that we will be recording this webinar and we will upload it to our YouTube channel during the course of next week. If you've joined any of our previous webinars, you will have noticed that we are testing Microsoft Teams as a new platform to use. So if we have some teething issues, please be patient with us. We will have a Q&A session after the presentation today. If you would like to type your questions, then please keep them short and to the point in the chat. Otherwise, you're also more than welcome to use the raise hand function, and we will unmute you so that you can ask your question. This will be after the presentation, please. Please note that there will be some brochures which I will be sharing with you towards the end of the presentation. Some of us are still presenting from home, so as always, please excuse any unusual noises in the background. So let's get started. Grant Combrink, our Marketing and Segment Development Manager, will give a brief introduction about the company, and then Dani van der Nest, our expert in smart systems and solutions at BEKA Schréder, will present the shuffle to you. Handing over to you, Grant.
Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome. Dani, if you want to shoot over to the next slide, please, and we can get moving there. Awesome. Always good, a little reminder of where we come from, so it really defines where we're going to, and as you'll see, as Dani will present, you all know us quite well, leading the manufacturing and luminaire space in Africa, sub-Sahara Africa and South Africa. Origins come from Namibia, our humble beginnings, moved to South Africa in 1981. We are fortunate enough to be part of a massive group, global group called Schréder. The relationship started in 2002, and we became a solely owned company by Schréder in 2013. Fortunate enough, we keep our roots. We have local employment and engagement throughout, which we're very proud of, and that really helps us cement ourselves as a local manufacturer, and we're proud of our BEE level with that. Our solutions, which really defines us as a company, ISO certification really gives you that quality guarantee that really is a peace of mind for you. Something that we've, as a legacy of ours, is we've always strived to save energy across the board with all our products and really pass it on to the customer. And again, we've got a team of in-house engineers and experts that really are defining the product, evolving the product, and making sure that we bring in the best in innovation to you. Again, just a quick snapshot of our products across the board, from industrial mining, large focus on the outdoor segments, road and street, the manufacturing, also have illumination, some aesthetics, some bulkheads. Our products well, and please contact us further if you require any information about our other products. Across the board with solutions and applications, we really pride ourselves with the product that we can push into the market. And we really want to now assist you with your smart city goals. The evolution of our product is happening, and we really want to push into the public space, which is undisputably every city wants to have some sort of public rejuvenation, public lighting rejuvenation, that we really have safety and bringing people back to the city. That's really, really important to us. And after Schréder has been dealing in this public space for the past few decades, again, we can talk about energy saving, the deployment of robust solutions, which we're really proud our products in is how robust they are, interoperability with the systems, so you're not locked in to proprietary systems, really want to adapt to the constraints of the environments, really adapt to your application, and really want to make sure that you have a future-proof technology that you can be proud of. Yeah, so let me hand you over to Donnie, and he'll push straight into the detail of the shuffle. Thanks, Donnie.
Yeah, morning everyone. I'm gonna dive right into the more detail of the hardware side of the shuffle pole, but more so how these hardware and software forms part of the urban platform and how it integrates into a smart city. Just to kick it off quite lightly, we have prepared a very nice video, and I would like to share that with you straight away. Just keep in mind the sound is quite loud, so just take your sound a little bit lower when you've got earphones on, and then increase it as necessary. So I'll kick it off in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. That video clip is quite self-explanatory. It shows how a shuffle pole in its makeup fits a very specific environment. However, what makes the shuffle unique for the city platform is firstly that it's a modular plug-and-play solution. As you saw, that those modules are rotatable, which makes it a very, very integrated part of the area that it's mounted in. So you can really adapt the pole to its environment and make it suit that area very, very nicely. So not only is it plug and play, but these modules are compatible with pre-certified hardware, meaning that what's existing on your smart city area. In that area, the pole suits that environment, so it works with existing hardware, either security systems, emergency services, anything that triggers the need for activity, and this is what makes this pole quite unique. Again, to customize it to suit your area best. We've partnered to make it an ecosystem, meaning that the hardware is future-proof and that we increase the portfolio so that whatever the customer and client's needs are, we are flexible. The shuffle is the type of solution that that can change, that can be developed into a specific need of yours. Obviously, we have existing and very significant modules that suits most areas. However, we are willing to work with clients to create new hardware and to improve into what the needs are for this solution. Also, the software needs to work well with the hardware, and once again, consisting into a future product. Therefore, aiming at 5G networks and all of this that comprises of a smart city. Also for data processing, for instance, feedback and capturing of data that is useful to a city to understand the amount of people, spaces, foot movement, etc. in its environment. Yeah, 4G, 5G, small cells is another offering. Again, making it future-proof. So it's an opportunity for revenue. So the smart city can buy into the application, and this is what gives you as the client or the entity an opportunity to make money out of such a solution. So just keep that in mind as well. I'm just going to switch from the presentation into this website. This is a website created for Shuffle, and what it really is, it's an interactive website whereby anybody can log in, create yourself an account, and then interact on the site. So let me just go out of here and quickly go into the web link. When you open up the web link, it is standardized to English. You have the option to change languages here on the side. But firstly, you need to log in. If you haven't got a login, then create yourself one, because what makes it unique, once you've got an account on this website, you can enter your details or a specific name for your project, BEKA head office project, for instance. And what's nice about this, I'll show you. You can then interact on here by creating your own shuffle. So the shuffle modules goes up to 5 modules per pole, and there's a very specific reason with regards to the control systems that needs to control all of this. Therefore, this is the limitation to the pole. However, you can choose the length of pole in this area here, and it instantly changes the pole length. Okay. Then you have all these instances here where connectivity, mobility, security, the infotainment, and the light. It's all the offerings of each of these specific modules. So let's just put a quick, easy one together. This is the 360 with strobe. I will explain the hardware instantly. You can see if it's green, you drag it to the number, it fits there. If it's in between there, it means it can't, because you've asked for 5 modules. Therefore, it has to be on the top end there. You can increase or decrease the amount of modules that you want. So a light with a strobe on top. We want some color in there for indication, so we can add a light ring. Then we want infotainment with a digital speaker, for instance, for many reasons, and security, of course, always needed, and so forth. And again, this is an interactive platform, and therefore you can add and change as you wish. And I'll dive into the details of these hardware so you understand what this website is all about. So when you've filled up the spaces that you require, what's nice about this is you can create a PDF of your project. It gives you your project name. It's a single format in PDF, so you can save it, print it, send it off, share it. You can take it with to a presentation with your entity or client or city, and then also maybe use it in meetings or future project offerings. So this is a very nice single format. It explains your pole height, gives you all the accessories in modules that you've chosen, and it's in color and it's nicely usable. So that is the one thing. And then secondly, on this website, which is another stunning interaction, is the mapping. If you click on the mapping, it takes you to this Google Map environment. Sorry, the internet's loading a little bit slowly. But what this offers, it's got a hovering address bar. You can click on the address bar and you can type in your specific street or your client's area. Let me use an example if it loads quick enough. This is just a general estate area in Waterfall, and it takes you straight to the Google map of that address. What you then can do is on the side left part here, there's several of these modules that shows its own configuration. So you can drag, you click on it, you hold it, and you drag it to the street area that you want to plot it. And instantly, because this is a luminaire with Wi-Fi, the blue indicates the Wi-Fi and the yellow indicates the light. And what's nice about it, you can plot several of them in the same area, which gives you a nice clear indication as a schematic to how it's going to look and how these different types of modules integrate into that area, and also how far these different module types actually reaches communication, for instance, the Wi-Fi or the luminaire. And what's nice about this, once again, if you are logged in as a user, at the bottom here, it gives you an option to save your project once again, and it's also printable. Therefore, you can use it the same way as the previous PDF, and you can take it to your client and show him actually a live environment setup of his specific area. I just want to show one thing. For instance, the speaker. It gives you this little rotating bars here. If you click on it, it rotates the direction of where the sound will go to. Again, just some nice interactive proof of the usage of the site. And what's nice about it is that you can actually show that it's in that direction specifically and so forth. If you don't want it anymore, you just click on the specific one and delete it. Okay. So that, in short, is what this site is about. It's a nice, useful tool for someone to to show their clients specifically what the shuffle is about. So let's go back to the presentation. Once again, that's what it looks like, and please use it. It's user friendly and quite nice to see. Straight into the hardware modules. First up offering is the lighting modules, the basic lighting concepts and the more complex ones. Here's just a view of some of them. The first one is our 360-degree luminaire. It's aimed at normal street and ambient lighting. It offers a specific lumens package, 1600 to 4500, and like most of our white color LEDs, comes in neutral and warm white. In these modules, there's offerings of backlight control, meaning it's diffusing the light so that it doesn't reflect back into someone's yard, for instance, or into a specific walkway that is not required, so that the LEDs and the diffusing, is very specific to its area that it's installed in. It also offers these, internal and external diffusers. It just also for comfort. So not to have any spill light or unnecessary glare in its area. The second one is the 180-degree spotlights. These are very specific to show a specific area. As an uplight, you can use it to light up a building or architectural structure. So it's very specific beam angle to light up a specific area. Again, in a very specific luminance package. It also offers an inclination angle between -10 and +40 degrees. So the inner plate of the spot can change on site very easily by opening the diffuser and just changing the angle, or a preset can be done in our factories. Another 360-degree light offer comes with strobe. Now the strobe light is used as an indicator, mostly in emergency environments. So it's the visual aid that it offers for emergency services or policing to actually see where the problem is at that specific spot. So a very nice usable thing, especially for emergency and security purposes. This strobe light is triggered remotely, meaning that it can be triggered by an external trigger from a security system or an emergency trigger system. Also locally within the pole with other part of our modules, which I'll get to. One very unique offering we have as per all our streetlight luminaires is the NEMO socket 7-pin, which we have our own IoT, and moving into the future we call it Schréder, which is a user interface and a street light management system. And just to mention that this is a brilliant offering from us as well. It's an in-house system that is unique to us, and it offers a very unique asset management to your smart city, understanding exactly how many poles, how many luminaires, and what its output and usage and energy saving is. Another part of the 180 degrees are with our Lenso Flex type LEDs and optics. It offers a higher lumens package, as you can see. Again, backlight control, so there's no spill light in areas that it's not required. Comes in warm and cool white again. Then these diffused reflectors, again, for the visual comfort in the area that is installed in. Lastly, the last two modules, again, 180 degree spot with reflector, so a very unique spotlight type, which is aimed for street and ambience and area lighting. So the reflector directs the LED light to a very specific spot and area, and mostly used for architectural uplighting as well. Again, in a specific lumens package range and in neutral white and warm white. A very unique module to the lighting is this universal bracket, and this is aimed where you need a lot more light than just the standard lighting modules, and this is aimed at street lighting and pedestrian crossings areas, walkways, etc. So what we can do with this is offering a luminaire in our range, which gives you a much higher lumens package, but also where opposition luminaires can be installed on the same pole, for instance, in your city, and as long as it's a luminaire up to 10 kgs in weight and with a 60mm diameter mounting, and this is an offering at 5 degrees only. So this is unique because you can then install the pole directly to a road and add a road luminaire to it, a street luminaire, and you can offer and use the pole's flexibility with the smart function installed. Next in the range is the infotainment, and the offerings here is the loudspeaker system. It is of 20 watt output into that frequency range, and it's used in areas where public addressing, just in general ambience with music playing in the background, announcements made, or where it's needed to make emergency announcements. So it is a weatherproof, it's indoor and outdoor capable, so a very unique speaker system. We have the light ring. It is a light unit, and why it falls under infotainment is that it's also used as a trigger point. It is for information, for signage, to show, alert, etc. And it comes in different colors. At this stage, a 5-color offering at red, blue, green, neutral and warm white LEDs, and it can be a single color or alternating between 2 colors. We also have a new offering in RGB, so color changing, for instance, and there it's mostly used for ambience and just show. In its normal format, it can be used with the input of the EV charger, and then it shows green or red with the free space or in use. For instance, the intercom with emergency, so just showing the specific emergency point, so a flashing red light, for instance, etc. With detection, so it can be triggered by a sensor, and it can show occupancy or free space, parking spaces, for instance, and so forth. I'll show you how it integrates into the pole at a later stage. Very important to create a very safe environment for users and in your city, to make it a secure and beautiful environment for people to gather in. So in malls and surrounding areas, in your campus areas, in parking areas, etc. So security is a very, very important integral part of the shuffle. And here we offer several different kinds of PTZ cameras and a unique quad view camera with 4 directional cameras in one module. Most of these cameras are full HD and with optical zoom, depending on which type and how much money you want to spend. So there's also night vision and contrast optimization of imaging. It's got all the privacy layers for security purposes. It offers triggering and detection and like we said, spaces and tampering, etc. It gives feedback with data in the specific software that it uses, and these can be recorded and stored. And then most of these cameras are angled, pointing to specific areas and direction. And then it also offers various protectors, either open for IR cameras if it needs to be more clear, but also for vandal-proof purposes with clear diffusers. Another very unique offering is this universal camera bracket. It is of an empty type bracket, which is compatible with most PTZ cameras on the market. Here it shows the Access type camera, 360-degree camera. And what's nice about it is it forms an integral part of the pole. It's smooth and nicely formed with the pole. It doesn't look out of sorts, and also it hides the cable in that, and it offers excellent stability. So because it forms part of the pole, it's quite rigid. Again, because it's universal, compatible with most of the local type cameras, which seals properly and conceals the cable. A very unique part of the pole is also this intercom. This is integrated in the pole base itself and not as a separate module. So when you do require this, please ensure that it's very clear that it's not a module that you can change afterwards, but that it forms part of the physical structure of the pole. So once installed, if you want to change, you'll have to change the pole. So just to mention, this intercom system is mostly aimed at the emergency and security function of the pole. It is an input to several other modules, whereby it triggers the light ring, for instance. It triggers the speaker system, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. It is vandal resistant. It has a stainless steel front plate, so also IP rated. It is all sound balancing with crystal clear audio, and it also has active noise cancelling in the background. So once in use, the user can be sure that someone at the other end will be able to hear them and that they can communicate clearly to that entity. So very nice as an offering in emergency services that links up to the intercom, so the user in distress can speak directly back to this services. So how does the loudspeaker used in security mode? It becomes an active horn, again from the input, either remotely from a system where emergency services triggers an alarm. This horn will go off in the pole to alert people of certain emergency situations, but also it can act as a horn to indicate to security or emergency services where the person or area of distress is. So a very nice and unique integration into the pole. Next on the map is the modules that uses connectivity. Now connectivity, integral part of our lives nowadays. Wherever you go, Wi-Fi is required. Here, therefore, in the poles, very nice offerings in different access points of the pole. So firstly, the WLAN purpose. This is a remote unit access point. Currently, the Ruckus type. It is a worldwide leader in outdoor Wi-Fi, and this is a very stable system. It is a system that speaks wirelessly to all access points in its area. It adopts to the changes in connectivity, therefore more stable data connections. Many users can access it, and it's a self-healing mesh network. So if one is down, another one is picked up from itself. So it is mostly used outdoors because of its stability and its strength, but it can be used indoors as well. And what the Ruckus module offers is cloud-based management. So just a very strong and very popular access point for Wi-Fi. Here it is built into our 360 luminaire, as you can see. Therefore forms part of the lighting format, so you don't have to have several different modules to have Wi-Fi and light mixed, you know. So it is a unique built into a luminaire type. Also, if you want to hide this access point and it doesn't look as great in your specific environment, it can be diffused partially or completely, as you can see there. Secondly, here is another mostly indoor type access point with these little antennas. Once again, integrated into the 360 luminaire here, but it can also form part of just an access point on a pole in a campus environment, for instance, or a school. And here it's in a 180-degree module. It just means that it's in a single module, which does not form part of one of the luminaire types or so forth. This Phoenix Contact type module, that's here, and we have several others, but once again, just partnering with great hardware companies for these smart poles. The next one has to do with mobility, and this is a very, very unique part of the pole. Not so much part of South Africa yet, but moving there rapidly, and this is an EV charger built into the pole. As you can see here, it's obviously aimed at specific companies where they have these poles installed in public areas, probably also campuses that offers charging areas, for instance, and at some of the dealerships of companies that offers their clients not only a vehicle but a charge point at the premises. So this charge point offers a Type 2 socket in the pole, which is a universal type socket in the world. And then obviously on the other side of the lead, it is very unique to the vehicle. There's charging rates of single phase and three phase of 3.6 kilowatts and 11 kilowatts. And it is also a trigger, like I mentioned, which is directly connected to the light ring if required to show a free space or a space in use. So a very, very unique type pole, very specific to its user. There is another offering not on show here, just with regards to mobility and connectivity in the pole itself. We also offer electrical charge sockets of 230 volt, which is also unique to areas where, for instance, if festivals are held in a square or in a public space, then a lot of entities with little carts or even Christmas lights, etc., it can plug straight into this IP socket, also of Type 2 type, but just offering an output of 230 volt. Therefore, can be used in your city environment for several entities to plug into or charge where required. We are also looking at a USB type connection, so charge points for any type of USB smart device, phones, tablets, even laptops, etc. And that is mostly aimed also in public spaces where people need a quick charge on their cell phones or on a campus, for instance. The last offering of these specific modules are moving into the future, so enabling that the smart pole in its environment is 5G ready. Therefore, we have a small cell in a 180-degree module, so it can be used by your mobile company to plug into these receptors and offering an antenna type pole up to 6 meters, and because it's modular, it can be upgraded or added later. And the last one is this small cell cabinet, also for larger type integrations of mobile infrastructure and equipment. It is vandal proof IK 10. It's got doors on both sides for ease of accessibility and maintenance. It has got a locking system for vandal proof. Yeah, just a great offering for a space to fit stuff into when it comes to mobility and future systems. So a very unique look to it as well. So it looks nice in the environment. It's not these ugly antennas and stuff that we see in our suburbs nowadays to enable 5G going forward. So a very, very beautiful vandal-proof offering for mobile companies to partner with. So in the video, we saw specific shuffle versions, and I'm just going to run through them quickly because we feel that obviously it could be a lot to take in with how many versions and put together you can do with a smart pole and all the different kinds of modules, and obviously you can fit and make up your own pole as you wish. However, we've made it slightly easier by offering very specific ready-made poles in different versions. And here we are offering an SOS campus, mobility, security, and light. And it's very self-explanatory to the name, however, very specific to its area. And the first one is the SOS version, and this obviously in city environment are used or for the offering and used by people that has an emergency problem or requirement, so making the city safe. In all of these versions, we've got a basic and a core, and to the left there is obviously the most modules you can put together on this specific version. In this SOS, a very typical one would be with a strobe, so indicating or the light ring as an indicator, a visual iteration, and then also cameras, obviously, so that emergency services can see and view what's going on at that point. Also the intercom to interact and talk to the emergency services and get feedback from them in remote help, and then the horn once again just as an indicator to where the specific emergency is at that point. So this is mostly what the SOS would be used for. On the campus version, again very specific to campuses of university schools, etc., where people walk around and need the use of very specific Wi-Fi, light at night, a visual ring just for ambience purposes, obviously security with cameras once again, and then either the horn or just a public speaker to either use in emergency situations or as ambience, sound and music played in the background. But mostly it has to do with connectivity. Students and people in the area needs Wi-Fi at all times. The mobility, as we saw, very specific to the EV charging. And here again in basic format, the charging point with an indicating light, or in a very complex format, one with camera to show an open space, or just for security purposes, seeing what's going on around the pole, a spotlight to light up the charging point or space, and then other light offerings to either indicate use or no use. The shuffle security, again, aimed at a specific area where high security is required. And again, here with the inputs of the intercom to the speaker to be used as a horn or to public address someone. The different types of cameras, the universal camera bracket to offer any integration of local PTZ cameras, and also some light to light up the area. Lastly, the shuffle light in its basic format, just a pole with a light to light up a specific area around it, or the 180-degree spotlights, again for structures or area lighting, and then the light ring for ambience or color change inputs. Now, hardware will not work if there's no applications that can be used with a smart city environment. And here there's a general offering of software at this stage. Our overseas partners are Genetech, and this software is mostly used in smart cities where they need to analyze data and capture data, either by foot movement, traffic movement, intrusion, as you can see there, for security fencing and purposes, and then parking spaces, for instance. So all of those counts and data counts can be captured and stored and used for analysis. Also very important for certain cities is to understand how many users of data and Wi-Fi is used in a specific area. And what that also can do is create foot movement and hotspots of areas. And with RUCA's software that's integrated into their Wi-Fi systems, this data can be captured and kept for analysis. Lastly, again, Parquery is type software that's widely used in the world to find open spots, analyze areas of use with vehicles. Again, just all data that's required to understand in smart cities where hotspots are and where areas are used more than others. Also for security purposes in this instance. And then just on the right, this is very specific to a European country, but this is your city management system, just to show that if there's existing management systems, the hardware can be integrated and all its data captured and used with your smart city system, and therefore an output to use and analyze all of this in one screen. With that said, and all the hardware, I hope I haven't bored you too much, but if you have any questions with regards to hardware, please post them or raise your hand. Nadia will handle that. And with that, I've said enough, and I'll hand you over back to Grant.
No, thank you, Donnie. Yeah, just a quick summary of some of the unique selling points. We can always see the integrated design that we've created here, an elegant design, very neat. The modularity of it, rotatable, can really fit into your application. The end-to-end integration with hardware and software across the board can really customize that, as you saw with the website, to really make sure that you're getting exactly what you need for your application. The source of revenue is always important. Payback model can be discussed there. Obviously, the open ecosystem is important to us, with the interoperability with other softwares and partners across the board, and all the smart applications. And then again, easy to install, as you saw in the video.
Okay, thank you. So just to let you know that all this information is on our website, and we do have also 2 detailed brochures with more information that can be found on the website. I actually tried to upload this now into the chat, and it's actually not allowing me to, so I'm a bit disappointed. Like I said earlier, sorry, we are trying this platform for the first time, and yes, we're learning as we go. So but please do go to our website, it is all there. Okay, so with that, time for our Q&A session. So just a quick reminder, if you would like to type your questions, please keep them short and to the point in the chat. But you're also more than welcome to raise your hand, and then we will unmute you so that you can ask your question. So I'm going to start by reading the questions here in the chat. There's already quite a few questions, which is wonderful. Let me just find the first one. Okay, so the first question is, what is the color of the strobe? If the color is as per designated emergency services colors, are these colors then been approved for use?
The strobe currently is of a bluish color. It is just a very, very white light actually, and the strobe is just meant for indication. So it is not of a specific color pointed to a specific service. However, I will just say this, that again, what we are trying to do with the Shuffle and with smart city integrations is that we are open to many changes and hardware upgrades. So if it is a need to be at a specific type and color, then surely as a unique project we look into it, and if viable we will adopt to that, because this is what the smart pole is all about, is to move forward and also to be compatible. So that's my answer. So at this stage it's a very, very, very white light, almost bluish in color, and it's acting as a standard strobe, like you would find on emergency vehicles, for instance, and so forth.
Okay, thanks, Donnie. Then here's the next one. What limits the height of poles to be 6.65 meters? I believe it would be nice and practical to have 9 to 10 meter poles.
Yeah, that comes up quite a lot. There's 2 reasons. Firstly, because of environmental uniqueness. Keep in mind that these needs to be in an urban environment, where buildings and trees, for instance, and also the fact that it has to be visible and usable as a smart pole. Yes, for specific applications, we can, and this is my second answer, we can absolutely adopt to different lengths, but for the sake of integration and for its hardware design, the poles are at that height because of the LED outputs. So at higher heights, it is not developed for higher luminance. So therefore, we have stuck to specific pole lengths that it suits the complete and complexity of the makeup of the pole. So in that way, it is limited. However, it makes it unique as well. because the integration of all the hardware and the specific modules was developed in such a way that it works at that specific heights.
Thanks, Donnie. The next question, do these features work during power outage or load shedding? If not, what are the options?
Battery backup and UPS backup is always a question in South Africa. Again, my first answer is no, it isn't built that way. However, obviously, us as a company working with solar and emergency backup units, we are again flexible to adopt hardware to be integrated into this pole if required for your application.
Thanks. Then here's the next one. Please explain the standard planting and mounting arrangement options of poles. What is the typical cable planting depth required, and does it accommodate optic fiber cable connection?
Yes, first of all, the last answer is yes, it does offer optic fiber connections. It is just a specific connected module, typical like a Phoenix PLC module. Second answer, the depth is really application specific. The pole comes in a surface mount version or a planted version. Therefore, depending on the height, the data sheet will indicate how deep the pole needs to be planted, if it is. Otherwise, it comes surface mounted with a specific base plate mounting. Did I cover all of it?
I think so.
Just ask that question again, Nadia.
Please explain the standard planting and mounting arrangement options of poles, and what is the typical cable planting depth required, and does it accommodate optic fiber cable connections? So I think...
Yeah, cable depth is not really something that we dictate. Obviously, it is specific to the requirements of the contractor to ensure electrically that it is planted correctly. But we do point out the depth of planting of all our poles.
Okay, great. Then here's the next one. How vandal resistant is the shuffle and its modules?
It is as vandal proof as it can get. You know, if someone has a grinder with him and he wants to cut a steel pole in half, then that he can do. By normal usage, the vandal proof options are vandal proof stainless steel Torx type screws. It's not a type of tool that is just in the hand of any person. Therefore, that is one offering. So all the external screws on the shuffle pole is of that type, making it really difficult to use a screwdriver or any simple tool to take it apart. The complexity of the modules, as easy it is to put together, if you don't understand how the pole works, it is really difficult to pull it apart, not knowing what is of use and what is not. So yes, also with regards to diffusers, the external diffusers that cover some of the luminaires and some of the module type hardware is either of acrylic or polycarb. And obviously polycarb being of the harder vandal proof type. And that is how much we can actually protect a lighting structure or unit.
Thank you. The next question is quite related. What material type or types do the module enclosures come in? I think you've mostly answered this, but
the module enclosures, I'm thinking that it's referred to the plastic covers, and again that is either of standard acrylic PVA or with polycarb, and polycarb being your harder type for vandal proof. All the other, if we're talking metal, it is die cast aluminium of a higher grade, and so it is pre-molded for its specific type and hardware configuration.
Then the next one, what would be the net asset value of one shuffle loaded with Wi-Fi, 4G, security, lighting, audio, sensors, charge units, etc.?
I think, let me jump in there first, Donnie. I think the best there would be to contact your local branch, where you can specifically look at some pricing structure based on the configuration to discuss your project and solution after that. I think that would probably be the best. We wouldn't want to discuss specific at that level today, but you're welcome to contact your local branch.
Yeah,
I think there's yeah.
Perfect. We just to add to that, we, you know, again, the shuffle is very project specific, and again, we've made it easy for our reps with a shuffle matrix, so it's not going to take days to get an answer out of a pricing, so they can make up a pricing instantly for you, and they can exactly tell you more or less what one type of pole will cost.
Okay, thanks. The next question, what accommodations are made on the shuffle to address universal access requirements, i.e. a partially sighted or blind person wanting to make use of the intercom? Presentation shows intercom without braille. So to make use of the intercom, consideration of tactile paving and infographic logo.
Yeah, that's a tough one. However, I just refer back to what we feel. That is very unique, and it sounds brilliant as an idea. And this is again what we offer on the Shuffle platform. If that is a unique requirement for your specific needs or environment, on project phase, we will absolutely engage with you to the point where we can do as much as we can to integrate certain of those aspects into our pole, and also work with other entities to make a complete solution for such needs. Yeah, obviously the braille type thing is not a standard, but again, it sounds like a very, very unique and brilliant idea to add to a smart pole. So well done with that. That's a nice question.
Okay, awesome. Then here's the next one, and I do apologize in advance if I'm mispronouncing this. Do communications allow for LoRaWAN communications, open source with fiber or cellular backhaul capabilities?
Yes, absolutely. It is all of that and more. We have specific data sheets that can back all of your requirements or your questions on those. Because it is universal, and what you've just mentioned is all the standard communication and security platforms for use of network. So if you do require specifics of a module, because we have several different modules of that kind, we have data sheets on all of them. If you don't find it on our website, then please refer to us on email, and we will gladly share that data with you. This is very IT specific, and yes, we can absolutely offer you all of that detail. Again, it makes our pole integratable with, I'm probably not using the right word, but that it works with your existing environment. So it's what we're saying is you don't need to change any of the entities or software or hardware portions of your smart city. What we are offering is a platform, is a physical unit that should work with any type of input that you require or that is existing in the city. And this is what makes the pole unique. So we are willing to work with you again on project basis to integrate that pole with any hardware and software in the existing city.
Thanks, Donnie. The next question regarding charging. Does each shuffle have a power metering function so that users of e-charging can be charged or prepaid for use?
I must delve into that a little bit deeper, but yes, my understanding is that there is specific charging software and that is used in our pole. However, very unique to the type of charge from specific vehicles and companies that also offers the same. And again, something we can integrate into our system. Just again, with regards to that, the EV charger is of Europe standard. So please pop that into our email once again. It's something that I can delve into for you with more detail.
Okay, thanks, Donnie. The next one is a bit related. So what metering functions as a whole does the shuffle have, considering power usage of various devices, data bandwidth usage, user identification, signal strength, etc.?
Yes, again, our offering on this side, as in this instance, has to do with our asset management system, which is unique to our company, and with BEKA Schréder platform, it uses a huge amount of data from the inputs of hardware in not only our street lights but in a smart pole solution as well. And therefore integration of and management of data comes all off this platform. It wasn't shown here, but we have a very specific etc. presentation if you would like to see a lot more about that. And what that offers is asset management, also metering and data that all the hardware that is connected to is shown. And it's a very nice user interface that gives you capable options of what to do with that data, how to store that data, and how to offer it in a specific format. So etc. is our go-to tool when it comes to data capturing of energy usage and data storing.
Thanks, Donnie. Here's the next one. How easily maintainable is the shuffle, particularly considering modular systems, when the various uses or functions of the shuffle may be contracted out to various service providers?
Yeah, I would suggest that it's manageable from the point of input. So if it's connected correctly, obviously the input point is in the pole, but where is that connected to? So if it's managed correctly when the pole is installed, then obviously your output data at the end where it's connected to is where the management will take place. From a modular point of view, obviously you can change and interchange modules as you wish, as long as the supply hardware, meaning your drivers for luminaires, your connectivity to the network, and your infotainment systems are of the same type. Once you add to the pole, you need to ensure that the hardware that drives the specific module is added to the pole as well, but that is very clear once we put a configuration like that together. From a maintenance point of view, there's not much to do to the pole once it's installed. It is very robust, And yeah, obviously, if hardware fails, that becomes our problem. But otherwise, there's absolutely no need for any normal type maintenance on the shuffle pole.
Okay, thanks. Then the hardware within the shuffle modules, can these be interchanged by third-party contractors with third-party components or hardware, such that the shuffle then acts as a shell for the hardware?
The modules are very unique to our design. It is complex. A lot of work and thought and design have gone into it. Again, I will say that we are open to any project-specific changes that is required. So no, we won't shy away from something like that. But keep in mind that what we've designed is our own, and therefore we're not just going to offer an empty shell to you, because there is also the responsibility of ownership and responsibility of warranties. But we are again open to a specific integration of any kind of other hardware where we don't have that offering. So yes, we are very open to that.
Okay, then here's the next one. Can the EV charger also be made for cell phones?
Yes, that's why I mentioned the not specifically the EV charger. The EV charger is of a high output charge point, only meant for charge batteries of mobiles, meaning vehicles. When it comes to smaller charge points, yes, we have a standard offering of a 230 volt output charge point. And again, also USB type charging. Yeah, therefore smart devices, etc. That is, we are actually busy with a project of that kind.
Thank you. Here's the next question. On an EV side, the charging section, how do you indicate to a customer how much he or she is to pay for his charging? Was this answered earlier?
Yeah, we haven't dealt with that yet. Honestly, I will whoever is requiring those answers tells me that they are really interested in understanding a lot about the EV charger. Again, not much used in South Africa currently, but if that is a real need for information, I will honestly gather that information. You can get my email address from Nadia, and we will give you all the answers on the EV charge capabilities of data feedback. I think that is what the question is.
Okay, should I perhaps put your email address in the chat just now?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, I'll be doing that just now. And then the same person was, I think, commenting to say, I would love to have the smart poles on freeways.
Not impossible. I think where the limitations comes in on freeways, specific road applications dictate certain mounting heights of luminaires and certain luminance on the road. Therefore, not impossible, depending on what integration of modules. Remember, it is a pole, and we offer several types of luminaires or light units that can connect to the pole. For highways, I would suggest certain integrations, but probably not all, only because of limitations of height and mounting and very specific to the application needs.
Thank you, Donnie. The next question, how is the wiring run inside the pole to different accessories, example, light and camera? Does the pole come with compartments in it in order to avoid interference between wiring to the light and camera, in brackets Cat6 cable?
Yes, definitely. We have very specific connection points, which is inside driver boxes, as we call it. So for all types and connections, each one has a very specific connection point in an IP-rated driver box. Therefore, cabling is split between the units in a way where the first portion, it's very technical if I want to explain it, if you don't know what you see. So let's call it from the connection point, it goes into a multiple connector type. And this is what makes the pole unique, because you just place these modules on top of that connector and it interconnects to each other. So from one module that does not require the connection or feed, it just goes up to the next one. With regards to Cat5 cabling, it is run within the pole, and the electricity is isolated in its own housing, separate, to keep it away from data or communication wires.
Thank you, Donnie. Here's the next one. When you say vandal-proof, what tests have been done?
Tests, what we do with regards to glass or plastic covers is what we call in the industry an IK test. So it is specific to a breaking point that dictates how hard the glass or the plastic is, therefore giving it a certain rating, which makes it a higher or a lower vandal type cover. When it comes to screws, there's no real test we can do. The screws are torqued to a specific torque rate so that it doesn't strip within the fixture that it's turned into. But again, I can only say we can only protect a luminaire so much, whether it is a smart pole or a standard street light or a floodlight or whatever type, bulkhead or something. What we're trying to do is, with these external screws and the fixations that it screws into, we use these vandal types Torx screws. It's got a Torx head, and it's rounded. It's a button type head, so you can't clamp a normal pliers or any type of clamping tool to it, so it keeps on slipping on the round head. That's one way. The Torx makes it specific to turn, so you need a lot of corners, a specific tool, if you know what a Torx tool look like, to actually turn the screw. So if you only use 2 points, you off center, and then you can't turn the screw. And lastly, it comes with a center pin, so you can't actually push in any standard Torx tool into it. It needs one with a hole in it to accommodate the pin, and that is as far as what we can do with regards to vandal proof. Other mention is just the strength of the metal. Being a high quality aluminium, steel, it is hard enough to protect the inner components, and it obviously requires a cutting type device to break open the pole.
Okay, and then the second question here was, has this technology been locally installed? And if yes, where are these installations?
We are working at several projects. We only have a very specific reference at a filling station where the owner have installed a few poles with security, light and camera. And also in his private residence. Other than that, we are working on projects with campuses at this stage, but we have not yet installed at these campuses any of our poles. We have one sample at one of the universities.
Okay, then the next comment, please check your website. It does not allow a light fitting to be added to a 6.65 meter pole.
Yes, I can explain that. The pole, because of its height, accommodates certain lengths of modules. Again, because it was designed for that specific height purpose. So if the pole is too high and it does not accommodate a specific light, for instance, like a spotlight unit, then it's not meant to be, because it was not designed at that height. And there's no, it's not to do that it's not modular and that it doesn't give you that option. It's because of the output of the LED, and that we are trying to offer you a solution that was designed for, therefore having enough light on the ground and not just a light where you want to put it, so that it does not give you the right spread or the right amount of light on the ground. So therefore, yes, the limitations of the shuffle is of height and the amount of modules you can add to it. But that being said, it's all the only limitations there is.
Thank you. Then with regards to the e-charging, particularly the reselling of power, would BEKA assist clients with the process for registering and obtaining certification as a resale of power, if applicable, in terms of NERSA regulation?
Yes, we can. Project specific, we are willing to partner with whoever is required to make sure that the solution is workable for what you require.
Okay, and then a SANROL receptive to these poles for the roads.
A SANROL receptive.
Yes. Do we perhaps want elaboration?
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking it's.
I think it's more about the approval. Is SANROL receptive to these polls? You know, I'm assuming from the question that it's with regards to any approval, or they would look at rolling out something like that.
I can't speak for the client themselves. However, to mind, I think everybody's leaning towards road lighting here. Yes, the pole can be used next to a road, like we've said, with most of our streetlight luminaires at specific heights. Therefore, certain types of roads have very specific requirements, and that needs to be adhered to. But yeah, again, SANROL, mostly the owners of South African roads. That's what I'm thinking you are leaning to. But yes, the shuffle is for standard urban roads, and therefore, if it is absolutely suited for that area and certified to be used there.
Okay, thank you. Then it seems we've reached the last question, which is, what is the minimum and maximum cost per pole?
Again, project specific. Please deal with our reps directly in your area. They've got a matrix which would give you an instant answer on that. We've made up complex and very simple polls for them. Therefore, it will be very easy for them to give you a higher and lower cost of a standard poll.
Okay, thank you. I think then we have reached the end. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. As mentioned, the recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel during the course of next week. We do encourage you to visit our website or to get in touch with the relevant branch should you require more information. Please stay online to complete the very short poll. There are just 4 questions and we really appreciate your input. You will have approximately 15 seconds to answer each question with either a yes or a no. Thank you so much and have a great day further.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, the audience. Much appreciated.
Thank you, everybody.